Well, we crossed. Our feet are a little wet. We just decided to cross in our shoes and let them dry out as we hike. Owen's there changing his shoes. And the water wasn't too bad. I expected it to absolutely freeze my feet. But it wasn't too bad, but my feet will dry out. Anyway, first creek crossing of the day, and I think we'll have one more before the day's over. Yeah, headed towards Lewis Prong. But up here on the hilltop, it's just a nice ridge walk. And we have some views. So after that initial climb from the creek, this trail is nice. Okay, so along about mile 81.8, something like that, there's this really cool pond in here. So somebody apparently has lived here at one point and built them a cool little pond. Yeah, it is kind of rectangular, isn't it?
I think I see the house.
So we've had some really cruisy, easy hiking for the past few miles. Once you get done with that first climb, it gets really nice for a while. Beautiful day. It's a little chilly, probably 40 degrees. So I'm bouncing back and forth between needing my puffy and not needing my puffy, but it is an absolutely gorgeous day. So water crossing number 2. Really pretty little creek down in here. Sound is just amazing. I got across with dry feet so far. Owen got right in the water, so his feet are wet again, but I have my doubts as to whether I'm going to make it across there dry.
You won't.
I won't. Yeah, you won't. But this is a gorgeous little valley down in here. Somewhere around mile 81-ish, maybe 81.5. I don't know, but this is a beautiful little creek crossing. I'll have to put the name of the creek on here later when I edit it. Be careful. What should we call it? Owen's Wet Feet Creek. I don't think you're going to get across dry, Owen. Brushy ridge. It's not very brushy right now. Beautiful up here.
This is up to now with our campsite up here.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty place to camp, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It'd be a beautiful place to camp.
I saw a deer, but happy that.
Yeah, good place for it. There's grass up here. Okay, off down to the creek and we'll stop and eat lunch. Well, it's time to stop for lunch. And because of water crossings, we have socks drying out. And we just came to water crossing number 3, filtered a little water. Have about, I don't know, 7.5 more miles to go today. And we'll be in camp.
Icicles under a rock.
It is kind of cool.
Now they're dripping, but
It got cold enough last night down here for icicles to form. It'll be that cold again tonight. I think it's supposed to be 29 or 30 tonight. Oh, there you go. That's kind of cool, isn't it?
yeah.
All along this bluff. It's beautiful down here. Wow, is that not beautiful? This is why you hike. And this is the Ozark Highlands Trail with water. Beautiful, isn't it? Oh man, just one more beautiful waterfall. They just are everywhere. It's beautiful this spring out here.
Spring of 2024.
This is funny. So we just crossed Lewis Prong twice, basically, to make one water crossing. And within a few hundred yards, here we are again at another water crossing. My feet have been wet all day long because of all these water crossings. There is a lot of water between Ozone and Lick Branch this time of year. This is beautiful. It's always nice when there's sections of trail that are like this.
Especially when the final stretch through the day.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a long day. We did 12 and a half, kind of, almost 13 miles, 12 and a half miles, and we've got about 12 and a half tomorrow. And then 5 or 6 the last day to be back to the car, so. Well, for about the last 4 miles to Lewis Prong, and then the climb out of Lewis Prong headed west, you're on these old logging roads. Jeep trails, I think they were logging roads though. And it really makes the climb kind of more gentle. Not a lot of switchbacks and crazy rough climbs. So this is kind of a nice climb first thing in the morning. There are still some beautiful stands of white pine in the Boston Mountains. A lot of this pine was logged, and those logging roads we were on would have been how they got the logs out. But there are still a few places that they left or that have grown back, because I think the logging was in the late 1800s. Supplying railroad ties for the railroad was its primary purpose. It's been a nice long 2-mile climb from Lewis Prong campsite up to Arbaugh Trailhead, and we're almost at Arbaugh Trailhead. Beautiful morning. It was cold last night, and I actually have to brag just a little bit. This isn't like any kind of an endorsement that I would get paid for, but I bought a new hammock gear 20-degree quilt, and I think the temperatures last night were 30-ish, maybe 29-ish degrees. It had ice on the inside of my tent and outside of my tent when I woke up this morning from a little bit of condensation. And our water bottles were pretty much frozen. And that quilt kept me warm and toasty all night long. I've always been a sleeping bag person, and this quilt has sold me. I had freedom of movement under that thing, and it performed like a trooper. It was a nice quilt. So I'm kind of happy with that purchase. So if you're hiking and you're looking for a good quilt, the Enigma by Enlightened Equipment or the hammock gear are both going to be very, very good quilts for you to sleep under if you're a quilt person. But it's been a beautiful morning so far. It's warming up. I think we're going to have 61 degrees today, and like 47 tonight, 45 tonight, something like that. So a little bit of a warm front coming in, and the trail is nice today. So I hope you enjoy your day today as much as I'm enjoying mine. This section of trail does not disappoint. Look at the views. It's like almost like a sluice running down the mountain with that water. And it ends in a little waterfall, which is beautiful. And we are walking up top of a sheer cliff that ends in the creek below. This is absolutely gorgeous down here. And so far today we had a big old climb. 2-mile climb out of camp this morning, but it wasn't too severe. It was on those old Jeep trails. And now the trail is just flat, smooth, easy to hike. This is a beautiful section of the trail so far. The view from my tent this evening. It's a really, really pretty view. Wait for it, wait for it. Boom. There it is. The sunset is absolutely gorgeous. Looking over the bluff at mile 60 on the OHT. Nothing like waking up to this. Look at the view. We camped last night at about mile 60.2, 60.3, something like that. But there is this really awesome little campsite right at mile 59. And it also has some pretty epic views. I don't know if they're quite as epic as the last spot, but they are really beautiful views from this little campsite up on this little knob. Wow, that's awesome. The views, the views, the views. I just never get tired of it. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I know, I've used the word beautiful a lot in this video, but my goodness, it's just true. I want to give a shout out to the trail maintainers, the volunteers that maintain the trail here on the Ozark Highlands Trail. I've met a few of these guys on trail, and they are amazing. But what they've done to this piece of trail to make it walkable is awesome. This is a pretty steep bank to dig this trail into. go. So as you come down through these mountains, and I've noticed this at Devil's Den too, you really notice a lot of signs of earthquake in the distant past. Big earthquakes, like when the New Madrid quake, maybe 17, 16, 15, 1400s, I don't know, let go. And you notice all these steps where the mountain has kind of sloughed off and stopped and sloughed off and stopped. But one of the other evidences you find are these absolutely house-sized boulders that have rolled down off the cliff. And I can't hardly imagine what it would be like to be alive in a time when all this was happening and see it. It must have been absolutely terrifying. But it's really just kind of cool terrain and cool topography. But I tell you what, right here next to the Lick Branch trailhead, this trail is a boulder pile.